christiangeekcentral.com.
All right, well, I am now in our new house. Between the last video and this one, we moved, and I didn't touch this game for close to, I want to say close to 2 months. It's been a long time since I played this game, probably at least 6 or 7 weeks. So I am going to be really rusty with the rules just when I was starting to make progress. All right, so all of my guys have taken a long rest now at this point, and we're ready to progress into the dungeon, and Whisper is going to be going first. Actually, no, I want Shadra to go first, and technically I'm not sure if I can do that because Whisper's got the highest number she has is 33 and Shadra's is 36. I can't remember if you can hold your move until, later as an option. I'm not going to bother looking that up because I just don't want to do that. So Shadra is going to go. It seems reasonable to me that you ought to be able to hold your turn if you normally would have the advantage. So yeah, Shadra is going to go first, which means her Mystic Ally goes first. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so the summon obeys monster rules, but I don't think there's a focus for it right now, so I don't think it can actually move anywhere. So that just means that Shadra is going to move now. She's going to go over here, 1, 2, 3, and open up this room. Boom! And man, we've got a nasty new player in here. We've already seen the cultist before, and he does not look any more friendly than he did last time. Still really love the art on these. And this is the Earth Demon. Oh, scary. All right. And then the text for this room reads, "You kick in the door, thinking you are prepared for anything. Before you, however, stands a creature of pure elemental energy, enraged and demonic. It takes you a second to collect yourself, as if animating the dead wasn't enough for these lunatics." All right, so Shadra is going to get her bonus for Explorer. Reveal a room tile by opening a door on your turn during the scenario. Oh, gosh. I mean, it's worth it, but I don't know. There's still things about this game that are just like, they aren't like, there's like a disconnect from what I feel like the experience should be thematically. There's a disconnect between that and what it is mechanically. And kind of like having to choose between one of these two ways of gaining experience points, essentially, is what you're doing during a mission. It feels very gamey. It doesn't feel very thematic to me. I mean, this card is thematic. The name Explorer, and then what the card is about, revealing a room. The card in itself is thematic, but I mean the way in which I choose this card and gain the benefits of this card, at the beginning of a scenario, I don't know. Still got mixed feelings about this game. Part of the reason I haven't returned to it in over a month. All right, so she's put herself in harm's way. I mean, I guess it is kind of in keeping with her character. I mean, she's like wanting to find dark secrets and stuff like that. But the way I would play a spellcaster who wants to learn dark secrets and all kinds of arcane knowledge is they use other people. Like my idea of like a magic user is a pretty selfish person who uses the big dumb bricks around them to walk in front of them and do all the kind of the heavy lifting and stuff and be the bullet sponge, for all the bad guys and clean things up, and then I walk in at the end and I read all the books. I mean, that's kind of how I would want to play a magic user. So I guess maybe part of what I'm feeling here is the lack of the ability to really create my own character. There are these kind of character types you can choose from, and then further, I guess you can kind of choose their motivations a little bit through these kind of like main campaign quests, but you're still very limited in your choices there. So compared to something like Descent, this one I think probably has more attempts at bringing the roleplay experience of Dungeons and Dragons to a board game. But part of me is just like, I'd rather just feel more freedom to play my character in terms of what I choose to do with the character in a way that's consistent with the thing the character I have imagined in my mind, rather than them bring more role-playing opportunities into the game, but yet I feel like I have less control over how I play my character, the personality of my character. So anyway, it's continuing to have mixed feelings about this game. But let's continue on for now. Oh yeah, that's right. I was going to make sure, since she was going to be going in a very unintuitive way, just busting the door down, I'm at least going to take advantage of this Cloak of Invisibility. During your turn, you gain invisibility. So that's going to last until the end of my next turn. I'm going to do that now so that she is not going to be the target of any bad guys when they get a chance to act. Oh, but she still has one more movement, so I guess she used that item in the middle of moving. So she's going to go right there. And then I'm going to use Flame Strike to attack this cultist and see if I can get it out of the way. So attack damage of 3. There's no fire elements that I can take advantage of to add wound to this attack. And then we got a range of 2, so that won't be a problem. So yeah, Flame Strike 3. Here we go, let's see what happens. +1. Oh, awesome. So that is going to take out the cultist in one fiery hit. Alright, so now Whisper is going to go with her held move. First she gets to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And then she's going to bust out her throwing knives again. Let's see, I should have done that. I got mixed up as to who was going first. Normally I would save that for when I'm going to bust down the door to a new room, but Shadra did the busting this time. Okay, so yeah, that's going to have enough range to hit him. Let's see if it has any effectiveness. She does get 1 experience for doing this. Whoa, almost tipped my chair over, which is going to bring her up to 10. Ba-ching, ba-ching. So let's put this over here. She's racking up some nice experience. Then this goes back here. And yeah, so let's see, we got 2 damage modified. How? Let's find out. Nice. All right, 3 damage coming onto that Earth Demon. This guy is, let's see here, he's got, he's a gold, like, super duper one or whatever. I can't remember what it's, oh, only took 6 or 7 weeks. 10 health, so he doesn't have any extra, like, shield protection. That's really nice. It's probably because I'm playing on 0 level. Anyway, yeah, so that's going to be 3 damage on him. Very nice. All right, now the Earth Demon is on the move. He can move 2 spaces, so he's going to go 1, 2, and then let's see here. He's got, oh yeah, he's got this kind of like this attack here that it looks like will have like an area effect. I'm not sure if there's somebody, has to be somebody in the first spot for him to, like, in order to do this attack, if there has to be a valid target like in one of these first 2 red spaces or not. I'm going to say that there does not, that he can just take a swing at that area. And let's see, how would that work? I don't know, don't care, -1 to attack. Let's see how that gets modified. Where's my thingy? Right here. Boom! Oh my gosh! ×2 damage, but she's got the Iron Helmet, which means that I consider any ×2 attack modifier card to be a +0 instead. So just the normal attack damage, which is going to be, thankfully, -1 this time around. So that means that it's only going to be 2 damage that she has to deal with. Alright, so she's going to go ahead and just take that damage. So that's the end of the Earth Demon's turn. Time for a new round. Alright, so Shadra is going next. To be specific, her Mystic Ally is going to move first. Can't do much. Just going to go right there. Oh, so close yet so far. And then Shadra is first going to, let's see here. Let's do heal first. I'm going to use heal on Whisper to give her 3 health back. So that'll go 1, 2, 3, almost to her maximum. And then she's also going to use Reviving Ether to recover all of her lost cards and put the darkness element in play. Very cool. Whisper is up next, and I'm going to use this ability for the first time for its bottom half. Single out on your next 4 attacks targeting enemies adjacent to none of their allies. Add +2 to your attack. So I'm going to put that out here to remind me that that is in play. And then she's going to use Quick Hands to quickly go... I guess she was flipping on her hands. Is that why it's Quick Hands? I don't know. And then she's going to do an attack of 2 +2 because of this thing. Also get an experience point for using that. That is money! Here we go. Let's see what happens. Oh, +0. Okay, but it's still 4 damage on that guy. Very nice. All right, the Earth Demon is turning his attention here. Gonna be attacking Whisper. Holy crap, man. He's got a natural 4 damage. It is modified this time so that it's -1. 3 damage coming my way. Let's see how it's modified by his draw. +0. So still 3 damage. Dang it. It's a good thing I healed her. I'm going to go ahead and let her take that damage. 1, 2, 3. Ugh. But I got a plan, I think. All right, so Whisper, excuse me, is going to go next, or a new round, and Whisper's going next. Let's see here, and she is going to just use this, I think, for its nothingness. I don't think I'm going to do anything with that card. Technically, I guess it'll be for movement. And then, I'm going to use this attack here. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, I will use this for 1 movement, just so that I can step back 1 here. And then, let's see here. Actually, you know what? Can I get that treasure chest right now? Yes, I can. So I'll use the full 2 movement to land here, so I can loot that at the end of my turn, and then I'll be using Swift Bow to do my attack of 3. I've got a range of 4 on this, and he's not, once again, by any of his allies, so let's bump that up there, get another experience. So this is going to be an unmodified, before I draw, 5 points of damage. Let's see what happens here. +2, baby! Ha ha ha! Right in the forehead, and Goliath falls. All right, so she loots this chest. It's 46, is that right? That's right, 46. Suffer 3 damage, gain poison. What? What? She's my thief. She's my thief. They should have, if they're going to put traps on chests, they should give me the opportunity to search for traps and disarm traps that I find. That is lame. Oh, that's lame big time. All right, I am seriously losing patience for this game. All right, let's see here. What is it? Shadra. So she gets to move. I don't know if she's going to move. Oh, wait, yeah, she was going to heal. Has she gone yet? No, she hasn't gone yet, because done 20... Oh, wait, no, did she go already? No, because I still have these cards for her, and she hasn't used them yet. Okay, so she is going to heal 4 on What's-Her-Face. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, man, that's so lame. No, I got that wrong. She doesn't get any of those healing points back. She's still at 1. It just has this dumb thing removed. Ugh, jeez. I'm done. I'm done. Sorry, guys. Here's the problem. One of the reasons that I didn't come back to this game is because when I stepped away from it and kind of reflected on the time that I'd spent playing it, I noticed that, like, my progression was just, like, crawling forward. I felt like the upgrading of my guys was happening so much more slowly compared to a game like Descent. Even compared to, like, the campaign version of Descent. Now, maybe my memories are rose-colored, and I was usually the Overlord in Descent anyway. I'm talking about first edition Descent. But I just felt like the heroes got new equipment more often, that upgraded their capabilities, that there was just a greater sense of personal progression in your character's growth. And it feels so slow, and like they're just so stingy with what they reward you with. This was like, oh, that was a big pain in the butt to open up that treasure chest and to not find that it was empty, but to find that it had a trap on it that my thief had no way of detecting in advance and wasn't given the opportunity to disarm. That seems like, I mean, there's already some shortcomings in terms of my ability to play a certain personality in my characters here. That's fine. It's a board game. It's a great first step in the direction of trying to translate the personality roleplay side of Dungeons & Dragons to a board game. Some great first steps here. But for me to not be able to mechanically play my thief, to have her face this treasure chest with a trap on it, and for her to be treated like any other character that might be in my party. That, like, if you open it, whoever you are, if you open it, period, if you open it, period, the trap is going off, you're getting poisoned. Even in freaking Hero Quest, you can search for traps and then try to disarm them. If you take your time and play smart, you can find the traps and get a shot at disarming them. And it feels in keeping with your characters and the kinds of characters you play. Get the dwarf in here. He's the one that's good at disarming. It might seem like I'm harping on that one thing a bit, but really it's just kind of like the straw that's breaking the camel's back. No, actually, I'll tell you what the straw is. During my edit break, I took a look ahead because I was like, am I done? Do I want to finish this? One of the things that's been keeping me in this game is the large variety of monsters, but I'm just not kind of feeling the monster types in terms of how they play isn't as interesting as I guess I would want them to be. I don't know. There's a good part of my wanting to quit that I'm not sure what the cause is. But I think a lot of it has to do with that thematic disconnect. There's so many trappings of theme contained in the game, but when it comes to like connecting that theme to my experience via the mechanisms of play, the mechanisms do not feel like a good fit for all the different thematic things they're supposed to be representing. It doesn't, and which also means that it doesn't feel intuitive to me. Learning Mage Knight was a beast, but I kind of felt like once I'd played 2 games of Mage Knight, coming back to it was not that hard. Maybe it also helped that there's some great player aids that come with Mage Knight. Maybe it's partly because in Mage Knight I'm only keeping track of one guy, but I feel like you're keeping track of a lot more with that one player role than you are with a single character in Gloomhaven. But no, the straw that broke the camel's back was looking ahead and seeing what was in the next room here. Let's see here. This is the final room. And we've got, the monsters are we got like a wind demon, which I already knew about, and I looked at the stats for the wind demon, and, it wasn't, okay, it's got shield, it's got flying, and maybe there's some interesting things going on in its individual deck, I don't know. And then we've just got more cultists, I got some barriers here, I got some traps, I got some money. Oh, treasure, more treasure, let's check that out, what's that all about? And then I looked it up, and it's, just to see if it was going to be worth it. And it's like a cool, unique kind of artifact type item. Design only. And I remember reading about this when I was reading how to play the game. I just forgot about it. So my characters open up this treasure chest and they get design plans for a cool new item that that's now been unlocked in the shop back at town they can buy. Ugh. I can rationalize when in the last chest I opened, the one before this trap, there was a map to a new location. I mean, I even had to insert that. It just said, like, random scenario. It didn't say you find a map to a new location that is said to have great wonders or treasures or something like that. They didn't put that in there even. It was just like you open up the chest, new location unlocked, okay? And then in this one, it's like you open up the chest and there's not an artifact or a cool goodie in there. It just unlocks something back in the town. And these are just more examples of that thematic to mechanic disconnect that's just finally getting to me. I mean, even to finish playing what I have of this game, I did something that I said I was not going to do from the very beginning, and that is I gave some of my daytime work hours to this. I was just like, I wasn't feeling drawn back to it. I was like, I'd rather do something else. I'd rather play a video game. I'd rather watch a movie or something like that. I just didn't feel like playing this. In fact, I felt a little bit more like getting out Descent First Edition to see if I could use some of these solo play rules I've found on Board Game Geek to see if that would work and see if that would be more of what I ultimately want from a solo dungeon crawl experience. The point is, I didn't want to do this, but I knew that you guys would, those of you that have been watching from the beginning of this series would want some kind of sense of closure, so I was like, well, I got to do it sometime, and the deadline's coming up pretty soon. It's going to be time for me to put up another Gloomhaven video, and I want to make sure this gets out there. I don't just want to leave it hanging. So I was like, well, I can't bear to do it in my free time, so let's just fire this thing out. Let's just do it during my work time. Maybe when I sit down and get back into it, this happens sometimes. Maybe when I sit down and get back into it, I'll remember, all the fun that I was having, And I thought briefly at the beginning that was going to happen, but then just after one full round, I was like, no, I'm still not really. I'm not getting any kind of revitalization of my enjoyment of this game. All the fun that I'm getting out of the game is as a result of me forcing to put some energy and role play and imagination into the proceedings, you know. Without that, if I was just sitting here by myself, not making content for anybody else, but just like I have before with Mage Knight, sitting in silence in my room, just kind of going through this, if I were just doing that, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd be enjoying myself. So I hate to say it because compared to, you know, my average minimum views, you know, these videos have a little bit more of an audience, you know, than some of the other stuff that I put on my channel, you know. It's also not like right on center with the purpose of my channel, so that's another reason why I'm like, you know, I can let this one go. But I know that there's a little bit, relatively speaking to my other content, a little bit of an audience for this, so I'm kind of sad to say this is the end. Will I ever come back to it? Maybe, but I don't know how long that might be. It might be, you know, months. It might be maybe when, you know, the second printing of Gloomhaven comes out and people are talking about it more and more again, or getting excited about it again, I'll just kind of see, and maybe I'll think about giving it another shot and trying to adjust my expectations. But I feel like I've been trying to adjust my expectations for a lot of this playthrough. I looked ahead also a couple of weeks ago at some of the other characters that you can unlock through the course of this game, and I was thinking, well, maybe knowing what's coming in terms of the items that I can unlock, or the heroes that I can unlock that I'll be able to play in the future, maybe that would be the carrot that I need to get back into the game. I looked at them all, and they were interesting. They were definitely different from the normal kind of dwarves and elves and stuff like that, and it's a very different fantasy world aesthetically from, you know, just kind of like the normal Tolkien-based or D&D-based fantasy world. But that, and it's interesting to look at, but it wasn't enough for me. And, you know, honestly, I don't know if this is a factor, but sometimes I just want that classic D&D, you know, Tolkien-esque, at least Tolkien-esque in the sense that I like the movies. Books are way too dry for me. But, you know, that kind of classic, old-school, kind of dungeon crawly, all those tropes, sometimes that's all I want. I'm a simple creature. Anyway, at the very least, I'm going to keep my character sheets. I'm going to keep track of where they're at in the campaign and put down on my record sheets as though I finished up this dungeon, because I just can't bear to finish it. And then I'm going to take a break from board game based content for at least probably a few months. But here's what I'd like to know from you guys. Are you just here for basically for Gloomhaven, or are you interested in seeing me do solo play sessions of other board games that I can bring the same kind of energy and, you know, thematic imagination to? Because there are at least 3 other board games that I'm interested at some point in the near future, kind of getting out again and exploring again. One would be Mage Knight. I've mentioned this during my play of this game a few times in at least this video alone. So far, I think my experience with Mage Knight has been much more consistently enjoyable, and I think I might really enjoy doing a video series on Mage Knight. So anyway, let me know if you. So that's vote number 1 would be Mage Knight. Vote number 2 would be Galaxy Defenders. This is one that I have played one solo scenario on, but there's like a whole campaign, and I'm very interested in checking this one out. I don't get the chance to play this one with my normal gaming groups, you know, very often. So I'd be very interested in giving this one a try. It's got very much like a sci-fi military action movie flavor, drawing from Starship Troopers and Aliens and all kinds of other, you know, movies like that. So I've really been enjoying what I've played of this one so far, and I think I might enjoy digging into the campaign. The sense of progression on this one and Mage Knight, much faster, and I think thematically the mechanisms of these games connect so much more to the gameplay than Gloomhaven. And lastly, this is a bit of an oddball, but for years I've been looking to get a copy of Return of the Heroes. I finally got a copy for the price. The price was right from a seller on BoardGameGeek.com. I've had the expansion for it for even longer, but really before committing to this, I played a few games of this. I did like it, and I was like, oh, but I'd really like to get that base set, you know, and get the proper ultimate epic experience. And this one is a little bit more of like adventuring on an overworld map. It's not like the maps that you're playing on are not like the specific dungeons themselves. themselves. Although it's a little bit more like Mage Knight in that regard, where you're playing on an overworld and you're not actually going square by square through dungeon corridors and stuff like that. But dungeons are thematically a part of the game. You have these little adventure locations where you stop there and you fight a monster, or you do some kind of a thing. Or this one is actually more about it's kind of like collecting side quests in Skyrim, where you talk to people and they give you a quest, and then you go to a different part of the land and you go and fulfill that quest, and then you come back and get your reward. Thematically, it's a pick up and deliver game, like say Merchant of Venus, or is it Merchants? No, Merchant of Venus. But it doesn't feel like you're picking stuff up so much as like picking up quests like you would in an Elder Scrolls or a Bethesda video game RPG. So anyway, this one's a little bit older, but I've definitely gotten some enjoyment so far out of just the standalone expansion, and I've been looking for an excuse to finally plug these two together and give this one a try for the first time. So any of those three games I would bring kind of the same style of my play to the solo game experience and to the video experience. The fourth option would be, come on, PAETER, suck it up and just do more Gloomhaven. And so if you'd like that, let me know as well. And option 5, almost forgot, would be for me to work out some of these Descent solo rules for Descent First Edition, which I find as a dungeon crawl is far superior to Second Edition. And this, I've got all the expansions for this coffin box of a game, including Road to Legend, which is what I would play with. Actually, I don't have the second campaign thing. I used to have it. It seemed broken and weird, so I didn't keep that one. But yeah, so me playing a solo version of Descent, Journeys in the Dark, First Edition, Road to Legend, that would be option number 5. I know 2 of those games at least are out of print, and so I'm not trying to, kind of like get anybody interested in games that will just be prohibitively expensive, for them to purchase themselves and enjoy themselves. So it would really just be a series about you getting some enjoyment out of me playing with my toys. I'm not saying I'll do that, or really any of these 3. I would just really like feedback. That'll help me figure out maybe what board game-based content could potentially look like on this channel in the future. So anyway, option 1, Mage Knight. Option 2, Galaxy Defenders. Option 3, Return of the Heroes. And option 4, more Gloomhaven. And option 5, Descent, First Edition, Journeys in the Dark with Road to Legend. So I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining me for however much of this journey you have. I really appreciate you watching, and I hope you'll stick around and check out some of the other content that I've got on this channel, and join me and other people at christiangeekcentral.com as we continue to geek out and seek the truth. Bye-bye.